Hey, how's it going? This is the Rock Channel. My name's Tyson.
My name is Victor.
And we are here with
JD Enke from r.i.p Productions.
We're going to be doing an interview tonight. How's it going?
Doing great. It's a beautiful day out here.
It is. Today in Kansas City it was actually hot.
February, 70 degrees. How's that for?
Yeah, I think there was something on the news I was seeing that it's going to be a record if it doesn't snow, because it snowed every year in February.
Yep.
Here in Kansas City, but not this year so far. Anyway.
Thank you, global warming.
Yeah, I hear you. We're going to be doing an interview. We actually have a show tonight to watch as well. Who's all playing tonight?
We got Paralandra.
Okay.
The Many Colored Death. Locust Grove. And Black Onyx.
All good bands, I've heard.
Yeah, Black Onyx is an award-winning band locally. Locust Grove is a touring band from Oklahoma. Paralandra and Many Colored Death are from the same general area in Missouri. They also been a touring band. I've had Many Colored Death here many times. I'm super happy to see them. And first time for Paralandra here, so I'm happy.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be a good show.
All right, we're going to do a short little interview here with JD. First question is, generally we have, what is the name of your band and how did you create it? But obviously you don't have a band.
Right.
You promote
Why don't you
the
have
band.
a band?
I don't have a band because I really badly suck at most instruments.
Okay.
Really? At least you're honest. That's crazy.
And I don't have a voice, so I'm not. I might have a little bit of personality, but not quite as much as Tyson. I definitely don't have your rhythm. Now, when I was in grade school, I did percussion because I wanted to play drums. I thought drums are so cool.
They are.
And then what they gave me,
play drums.
They gave me this kit, and it had a xylophone in it,
Yeah.
and a little pad. And I'm like, what the fuck's this shit? Excuse me, what the hell is this
it's
stuff?
completely unrated.
So percussion kit. So and I was really good at the xylophone, but I wasn't so good at keeping time. And so they're like, "Oh, you can play xylophone." I'm like, I don't want to play xylophone. No,
That's
not
awesome.
at all.
That's awesome. I guess we can ask r.i.p. Productions. Where did that name come from, and how did it get started?
So r.i.p. was kind of interesting because we're looking for a name that was unassuming, but that could be used with all genres, because we truly like to have all genres of music and stuff. So Relentless in Pursuit is actually the acronym portion.
I did not know that. I thought it was Rest in Peace.
Right. Well,
that's
so Jeremy is and me to a point has a lot more of a metal flair, if you would, towards the music that he generally listens to.
Gotcha.
And so it works good for that side of things. Relentless in Pursuit is more. If you look up at Relentless in Pursuit, it's actually Christian based. So I'm not a Christian, but at the same time, it's got a different side to it. And but the whole point was that we're relentless in the pursuit.
Yeah,
of
like
making things better.
Like
persistence.
Just gonna keep things
not going to give up.
Exactly.
So it gives you kind of a little bit of a push to don't give up type stuff.
Never give up, never surrender.
Right? Right?
Never surrender. No, that's a hell of a good answer, man. Right on. Do you have any other questions?
So what made you get into rock? Any bands that kind of sparked the interest?
Well, I noticed they do other shows other than rock as well. I mean,
let's go way back, because I grew up in Enke, Iowa. I went to school.
What's the name of that town?
Enke, Iowa, just north of Des Moines. And some of the bands that I went to school with, like I went to school with some of the people that are in Slipknot.
Really?
And so, and they weren't in Slipknot at the time. They were in a band called Atomic Opera, and Dead Front, and Stone Sour.
I heard Stone Sour was way before
Atomic
Slipknot.
Opera?
No, Atomic
Guys
Opera.
that from Slipknot were in Atomic Opera?
Yeah.
Did you know that Stone Sour was before Slipknot?
Right, it was, absolutely was. So back in the day, I grew up, and I went to college, and I liked music, but I wasn't like band follower. I was just going to college, and I happened to be kind of a weird guy. I dated a girl who happened to be a stripper, for better words.
Yeah,
she had a pink Corvette, and she was about 6 foot and blonde.
So she was a Barbie.
She was a Barbie.
Yeah.
So this place, she literally was
like the exact definition of a Barbie.
Well, this place just down the street from where I lived, I knew the owner of the bar, and it was a half bar, half kind of dealer joint, if you would.
Dealer joint?
Peeling clothes joint. So the back half of it.
I've never heard that before.
So I walked in there one night, and out of the blue, there was a band called Junk Poet there playing. I'm like, what is going on, man? He's like, oh, they're just playing music. And I was like, oh, well, that's different. Okay, because usually I'd walk up there, and if I was available, he's like, yeah, take the door, watch people, or go play some music for the girls, whatever, and just kind of have fun. And I did that. But Junk Poet was pretty awesome. They kind of sound like, the grunge STP of the day, you know? And the lead guitarist is like, hey, aren't you the guy with the Barbie vet in your driveway? And I go, what? I lived across the street from him, didn't know it.
Yeah.
His name is Joel. He's a good guy. And so...
Name drop. Pew!
Yeah. But they're gone, but it's one of those things. So I got into music and that kind of stuff. I kind of followed a few bands. I followed them a lot back in the day, and I followed all the music. When the whole Battle of the Bands happened back then, just like it happens now.
Yep.
Battle of Bands ended at the Safari Club. There was a weird situation where I actually was not allowed in because the guy that Sean, I think, it's my impression of it, at least I don't know for sure. He ran the place and he said it was full up when I got there. Yeah. But he knew who I was and knew that I was there for a certain band.
Was it like a certain vendetta or something?
No, he just was the lead singer of Slipknot at the time. Slipknot 1.
Slipknot 1.
So it was one of those things. So but then when, and at the time, I think Corey at the time was actually working over at the adult bookstore. And he was playing for Stone Sour at the time. And they brought the people that signed him brought those two people, Jim Root and him. Yeah. And Jim was in Atomic Opera. And so every Sunday when you're underage, you went to see Atomic Opera on a Sunday because you're underage at the Harry Mary's. That was the place to go. Nice. So music started there, right? So then I decided it was the smart thing to do to get married and the smart thing to do to get out of college and have a job. And I moved here, and 2 years after we got married, we were divorced. And suddenly I started running into...
You know what the leading cause of divorce is?
Marriage? Yeah, that's usually the truth.
That's awesome. You named it. That's awesome.
So then I get to here. I get to Kansas City, and I'm working this job, and I'm like, I started seeing some people that I run into people at work, and I happened to walk into this great guy who was an accountant. Looked like the small little guy you wouldn't expect to like rock music or heavy metal or any of that stuff. And kind of find his little goth kid at one time. And he loves his stuff, and he introduced me to a guy that was starting a band called Black Urban Sky. I started hanging out with those guys more. I met my wife through them. Yeah. Lots of cool stories. They're gone. They're different, but I still talk to those guys. Paul will be here tomorrow in a band.
Hell yeah.
Coitus. He's in a band, Coitus.
Coitus. I've heard that.
Yeah, it's a great band, great fun. But it's different.
Isn't that going down on a chick?
Well, coitus is actually having sex.
Okay.
But it's the nerd version of the word, right?
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
It comes from
there's something sexual. I knew that.
It's so if you and that's all based off of the Third Rock
Welcome to
what's that show with Sheldon Cooper in it, right?
Sheldon Cooper.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. That's where it came from. Yeah. Yeah. So but that kind of thing. So I started doing that. I started because like everybody that starts out, they all want to support a band.
Yeah.
They want to be the manager because they can't sing or can't do this. So I tried to manage with them. Got to know a few people. Tried to be the nice guy. That kind of stepped away. I was kind of like circling, but still going to shows and still having fun with stuff. And I got to know a lot of people. I knew a lot of people in the scene. And Jim Carroll was going through some troubles personally, and since I didn't have anything really going on and knew people, he's like, well, I'll let you, run a couple shows for me. Yeah. And I liked it because I forced me to sit inside and watch the bands. Yeah. Because I saw them. I mean, a lot of times, you'll see this at shows, especially if they have to like do the ticket sale thing. Yeah. They'll force people to come. They'll go for their band and then they'll step out. Mm-hmm. Or they'll come out and smoke while the other people are playing. They just want to talk. So it forced me to listen to bands. So I get to hear great bands like Kingfisher, like The Strive, like you guys. If it had to come up, I would have that's
Tyrant Sun.
Tyrant Sun. So my point is that because I did that and I did a lot of shows here because of Northland, the owner of this bar, when he started having some issues, he wanted to bring live music into here. Yeah. Now local bars, they have different ways of doing stuff. They have a whole different business model. So there's the bars that pay bands straight up cash, no door charge, and they're just live jukeboxes, which is great. The bands get to play music, which they want to do.
So they're bringing in the bands basically to sell alcohol and stuff like that.
To keep people there, sell more stuff.
In there.
Right. But they don't play originals usually. They play cover bands.
Gotcha.
And the guy was spending a lot of money on cover bands and not bringing in much more people than I was bringing in. Yeah. And it was mostly because the cover bands at the time were kind of on the way out. They're still there, but there's not as many cover bands out there right now.
There's that Undertow Tool cover band.
There's some great cover bands.
How are they? Have you heard of them?
They're really good.
Okay.
They're really solid.
We're thinking about going there and maybe doing an interview.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. there's a few, and like he's talking about not you, the guy over there was talking about One Night Only. They're a Blues Brother tribute band, does a good job. But there's few and far between that can draw on a regular basis, right? So because
what's the big cover band? Weird Al. That's like the big cover band. Yeah, like the most famous cover band.
Yeah, and that's amazing that he's survived as long as he has because he did such good stuff.
That's the only one I can think of. Like famous for covers.
Well, there's Tiffany, right? No. there's Metallica back in like 1998.
Yeah.
But realistically, the deal is the cover bands are good for they're a higher making money than what you would make on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And so when I started in the scene here, there was opportunities at bars for 3-band nights, for no ticket sales because it's all locals, and I know that everywhere is open to that. But even at those places that I worked at, that did a lot of stuff with, they had like the sounds covered because the owner was doing the sound type stuff. We talked about that with a few other locations that do that right now.
Yeah.
And that's great. Sometimes it's a crapshoot. The sound guy can be, if he owned the bar, then you can't really tell him he does a bad job.
Exactly.
But it is what it is, and these guys do a pretty good job here. With the sound guy that owns a bar now, is pretty solid on the board. And the bands actually enjoy working on the shows here. So because he has locals coming from around here, I basically worked a deal with him so that we could make sure that every band that comes in here, whether it's a stellar night or a horrible night, will not walk out here with making some money.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I'm not going to say that it's going to be, a guarantee of $1,000 because it's not going to be that anywhere probably.
Man, it's about the love of music, man.
But I want people to make money, but I want people to feel like they've been appreciated, even if it was not a super solid night. I want to make sure that they feel like they got some appreciation. I want them to walk out with nothing and they just spent a bunch of money on beer and hanging out and enjoyed the other bands and supported the bands. Then that's one thing I see a lot of the bands support each other here. They don't leave. Yeah. They enjoy themselves.
Exactly.
It's a very nice thing to do.
And so these guys, when the previous owner sold it, these guys kept it going. I appreciate that. R.i.p. Productions isn't all-star bar where we do shows all over the place. We like to do shows all over the place. So that's no negative on anything. And every place you learn how things work, and you work within those parameters, or you don't do them. And that's one of those things. And so some places they have like minimum requirements for how much money that they have to bring in for sales. If you don't meet it, you pay it.
Pay to play.
But that's just the promoter paying to play.
Yeah.
That's not even the bands at that point, right? So and
that's why sometimes the bands are forced to pay to play. Like, it's because the promoters are forced to pay to play, and so it's just like a downward effect.
The one good thing, though, is that nobody in town here that I know of actually requires somebody to pay to play. They give you tickets to sell a lot of times, and that's okay.
What I've seen in pay to play, it's not the promoter's fault at all.
Yeah.
And these bands, the bands that are 9 times out of 10 bitching about paying to play, are the bands that pay for their own tickets, that buy up all their tickets,
that's
and
probably,
so in the end, they're like, we've had to pay to play, and that's their fucking problem.
That's because they couldn't sell the tickets.
Exactly.
But the realistic, and this is the truth. When I worked with BRS, I was working with Seventh Day because I managed Seventh Day till the end. If you are out there and you have fans and you can sell your tickets to them, you're going to make more money.
Yeah.
And the bar will make enough money to cover the nut on the bigger shows. Because that's the deal. The big shows have to cover nuts.
Yeah.
So you want to bring in, like you met Todd here. You get to bring in. Well, he's got a guarantee. He's got a guaranteed cover, and to make sure you're covered that guarantee, you got a certain door fee, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know that Jeremy did that show and he didn't make anybody specifically sell tickets. He offered them to sell tickets. He asked them to help out. As long as you're honest with the people and tell them exactly how it is, most bands are pretty damn okay with that.
Yeah.
And it's when they feel like they've been swindled or they're getting cheated is when they start to get frustrated.
I got you. No, that's fucking kick ass. On to the next question.
Yes. That was a long answer.
No. We like that. We like branching off and talking, man. That's what it's all about. This question is near and dear to me. What are your inspirations? What do you do besides music? What are your hobbies? What are your passions?
So, music is a side thing. I'm president of a motorcycle group. I ride motorcycles on a regular basis. I've been riding since I was
What kind of bike you got?
I got an 07 Softail Deluxe right now. I usually have 2 bikes just to keep a spare so somebody comes up and they want to ride, I can ride with them.
I have a 98 Kawasaki Ninja 500.
Nice.
So, but I'm selling it. I want to get a Sportster.
Sportster? Nice.
Yeah. I want to get it primer black.
Yeah?
All blacked out. Murdered out.
Murdered out.
Murdered out.
I just sold a Chopper Sportster not that long ago.
Really?
It was an e-bike. I had a VMAX before that. I loved the VMAX. You know, when I was a kid, I had nothing but love for Harleys. I wanted to ride a Harley so badly. And when I got out of high school, it was in the 90s, and Harley Davidsons were so freaking expensive. You couldn't afford one.
And they're expensive to work on.
They were at the time, and they're worse when you get the older ones. But at the time, it wasn't cool to have an old Harley. It was cool to have a new Harley with all the billet and the chrome and all that bullshit on it.
You get a Harley, an older Harley bobbed out, man.
Well, so while I was in college, I set goals for myself and I tried to hit them, right? So I had a goal at the time I was 21, I was going to have a Harley. Had to have a Harley. And I had other motorcycles at the time.
Yeah.
I've never actually not had a motorcycle since I was 13.
Man, it's an experience.
Just dirt bikes and motorcycles and quads.
Feeling that wind through your hair. You wouldn't know
like
that.
a princess.
It's like old cars too. Like I have a 68 Camaro. I've had old cars since I was a kid. My first car was a 71 Mustang Mach 1.
That's awesome.
Just because that's the things that my family talked about. That's what we got into. My dad had motorcycles.
The unicorn?
It was a Mach. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Gone in 60 Seconds?
It was the first Gone in 60 Seconds. From the 70s.
It has the fastback and everything on it?
It does, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It was very similar to that one, yeah. And I wish I kept that car because those cars weren't that popular when I got it, but now they're stupid expensive. But
yeah.
But I still have a 68 Camaro at home with the big block in it. I still have an old Scout. I hardly ever get rid of my cars. I have like 6 cars just because it's cheaper to keep them.
Definitely, we're going to have to go riding sometime.
Yeah, I'll ride with you. Hell yeah, man.
Right up to Sturgis.
Yeah.
Do something like that. That's a long ass way away, isn't it?
I've done it twice. Both times, no trailers with my wife. Well, I should say I've done it before that too.
Yeah.
But with my wife, I did it once with the VMAX, and that was not good for 2 people up for long trips. And then I got the Harley, and she didn't like it, but I had a lot more comfortable riding.
Well, it's nice to have the Bluetooth helmets where you guys can talk to each other.
That shit. I don't want to talk to her.
Yeah, not the whole way. Yeah, that's awesome.
Just want to ride, enjoy myself.
Well, I like the Bluetooth so you can listen to your music.
It's good. I'm with you, man. I get that part of it. And up until recently, I hadn't even really appreciated windshields.
Yeah.
I was very minimalist on my vehicles. I didn't want to.
Dude, that wind hit you at 70-something miles per hour.
When I bought this bike I have now, I was like, man, it's got a fat front tire. I don't want a fat front tire on my bike. That's a old geezer glide.
Yeah.
But I like the style because I'm kind of nostalgic, like old shit.
Yeah.
So that's why I got a G.I. Joe lunch.
G.I. Joe. That's awesome.
This is my money box, right? So,
yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things. But so I like that. I do the music thing and the motorcycles and cars. I'm a Freemason, so I spend a lot of time doing some philanthropic stuff.
That's awesome.
I work for Comic-Con. That's always fun for me, but I'm a complete nerd.
Yeah.
So it's all good. Again, G.I. Joe lunchbox.
We're all nerds, man.
I like the haunted stuff.
Yep.
We stayed at the Velisca house, Axmanor House. Went to Malvern with you.
We got a couple investigations coming up because I'm actually a part of Mid-Continent Paranormal now.
Cool.
I'm part of Jason Kupsik's team.
So talk to him because there's a lot of old buildings in this town. I really like history. I mean,
if you have any buildings that you can get the hookup on, let me know and we'll do it, man. But we have a couple coming up in Arkansas. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Is it gonna be at the hotel?
Are you talking about the Crescent?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it's something else different.
We'll pay to go to that one because we've been talking about going to that one for a while.
Yeah, I think it's something different, but I'm sure Jason would allow you to come along, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But just talk with me and we'll
do it.
We'll go do some other investigation and stuff. I know he's gonna hate me. I didn't bring it up this time, by the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't me that brought it up.
Let's just point out there.
It was still brought up.
So let's point out there though that as a kid, there was nothing thing that I was like. Besides some of the things I talked about were probably more prolific, but I liked everything. I mean, I water skied when I was a kid. I was 5 when I first water skied on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
I did snow skiing. This is all my dad's doing. I rode on the back of the motorcycle with him when I was 4 and 5 years old. We'd go out on the farm and ride tractors. I mean, I like tractors and shit too. I mean, I like everything. I like doing lots of. I want to experience all this world has.
You like hiking?
At some point, I like to walk and hike. I haven't been to anywhere like major, other than like Colorado and
I'm
stuff.
supposed to go hiking with Jason tomorrow.
He likes. I like the history
He's got a lot
he finds.
of crazy shit he finds out in the woods.
I
And
got,
stuff.
I got
like,
one spot I need to take him to. It's out south on Red Bridge Road. It's Dr. Minor. It's in Minor Park.
Okay. I'm new
it's
to
an
this
old
area,
house
so
thing.
I don't know any of this shit around here.
Because I see the stuff that he posts. I'm like, that's pretty badass.
Yeah,
I know
is.
exactly where he's at, but he doesn't want to explain it. But it doesn't take very long for most of my friends to point out where exactly
There's
where it's
this
at.
town I want to take him to. It's close to my land in Oklahoma, Newkirk, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
But you got my house out there by Arkansas River, and then you go out in the pasture, and for miles you got to walk or take a horse.
Sure.
And you come across this old ghost town called Uncas.
Nice.
And you have to go across an old rickety wooden bridge, and then when you get past the bridge, then it opens up, and it's a straight up ghost town.
Ghost town?
I'm
Nice.
talking about like more
down.
Walking Dead-ish, like the grass coming up through the sidewalks into the buildings and stuff. You
Oh,
see
yeah.
the post office. It's nuts, man.
Well, if it gives you an indication for like an anniversary trip, I went to I researched it so I could figure out which route I want to take, and I spent 3 days with my wife traveling Route 66.
Okay.
We started out in Joplin and stayed on the entire trip. 1936 travel, so we went up on the Arizona north side of Arizona. Ended up in Oatman and spent the rest of the week in Vegas for fun. She's a
awesome.
Vegas fan. So I mean, and every time you had to take the interstate, we just pull off, drive up and down the little reserve remainders of the 66, take pictures and enjoy ourselves, and then go back on.
I just like antique stuff, man, and history. History is my shit. So anything dealing with history, I like doing it. So, all right. Next question, sir.
Victor, I haven't asked you a question. Sorry, man. I haven't been to Czechoslovakia, but I want to go. I know. Keep talking.
You want to go to Romania?
Last time I introduced him as Czechoslovakian. So
Yeah, you did.
I've been from every place now. So it's like 5 different countries.
Your accent sounds the same.
I know. We're all the same.
I would. My wife would actually like to go to Romania quite a bit. I bet.
No, probably not
It's a
right
nice
now,
place.
right?
I don't know. Every place is scary right now.
Is it bad right now, like Civil War wise?
No, it's
No,
fine.
Okay.
Romania's alright, I think, but
Yeah, it's fine. So, you partially answered this, but right now, if you could play an instrument, what would it be? And the second part of that question, if you played that instrument, who would be the artist you would, in a dream world, be able to play with?
Good question. Dead or alive?
well, let me tell you, so their correct answer is to be the lead singer, so that you don't have to lug any equipment in, and 2, you get all the fame and glory. But then I don't really want to have
I'm
LSD.
the drummer, I'm not logging. I have these guys logging.
No,
but not this guy, 'cause
I
he's
did
not
it
this guy.
once. I did it once for Phony Jam, and I think that is solid. Every lead singer should have to carry at least half of the drummer's crowd.
I do help.
But realistically,
let's
though,
say you were in a big band
Oh, I
and had
know.
roadies, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, so that's it's a toss up.
He doesn't know that singing is one of the hardest instruments there is.
I actually, I mean, there's
A
a
lot
reason
of
why I
people don't
chose
Because you
consider-
have to hold the
A
microphone.
lot
It's
of people
like,
don't
oh.
consider voices instruments, but they are.
There's a reason why I chose drums as a kid, because I thought that was what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I can't do the pat belly and scratch,
Yeah,
like
I
everybody
get
else.
it. Hold on.
But you know what I mean.
I can't do it either.
Probably the best drummer that I know, I feel like I know, besides you, Victor, of course, is
Come on.
no, seriously, you're really awesome.
I
But,
know, dude, he is.
but it's Joey Jordison, and he's solid. He's
Slipknot.
really solid. He's not even in Slipknot anymore.
No, he's in a branch out band, Kill Devil Hill, right?
Yeah, but I remember when he was in another band called.
I played with him in Phoenix as Kill Devil Hill.
Okay.
Kill Devil Hill, it was at Club Red when I was with Prophet Zero, but I played with them.
Right.
Didn't get a chance to meet him, though. I was pretty sad about that.
Personally, he's pretty quiet. He's not. If he doesn't know you, he's not going to be super friendly to you because he's just a quiet guy.
Yeah.
He's introverted, but he's a really solid drummer, and
So
I
he's
respect him for
behind
that.
a mask.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Now
That's a joke I made.
the coolest guitar player that I ever met was actually John Five, and John Five. We were at Oklahoma doing interviews, and interviewed John Five. He plays in Marilyn Manson, and then also in. He played in.
They're talking about Johnny Five, that robot.
Yeah, no, he's a blonde kid and he's now moved to how's that kid? That guy.
That guy. Who's
Rob
that
Zombie.
guy?
Oh, Rob
People.
Zombie.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but he's so cool because he's actually into the country music, and so because people don't know him that well in that area, and because he takes off the makeup, he'll go at night after a show, like a 10 o'clock show gets off, and he'll walk down to a country bar and just jam.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's
Freaking awesome. He's a cool guy. He's a really nice guy.
That's kick-ass. All right. This one right here is, I don't think it's going to be a tiebreaker because I'm winning, but this one's going to be a good one because I know you're a nerd like us. Star Trek or Star Wars? You can like both, but which one do you lean towards?
Oh, Star Wars. By far.
Damn it.
Don't get me wrong. I dig the Star Trek, but the Star Wars is...
Watch, there's going to be a string of interviews, 20, 30 interviews, and every single one is going to be Star Trek.
Breaking Benjamin does the Imperial Death March live as a cover, and he brings out a lightsaber.
I have a lightsaber on the wall at home.
Does he pay royalties?
Probably.
Yeah. And in fact, my first marriage, that was the theme that they played when we walked in as the
That's awesome.
As the bride and groom death march.
We need to start.
That doesn't sound promising.
I know, isn't it?
That doesn't, right? We need to start keeping tally, though. We need to start keeping tally.
Now the
I
other
like
thing
Star Trek though.
I dig Star, and I know a lot about Star Trek too. Don't mean, and the new Star Trek movies are killer. They're really good.
They're good.
The old ones are decent too, but
you don't like the new movies?
No, there's two Star Wars.
I like who plays Spock.
I don't like.
I like who plays Spock.
I like Spock more than who plays Spock now. But the next generation, that's
what sucked back then still sucks now.
Yeah.
My heart and soul.
The next generation. Now because I'm a nerd and I'm at Comic-Con. I will say that I appreciate Star Trek and Next Generation quite a bit more because William Riker and LeVar Burton are fucking funny as hell.
Yeah.
When I first did the Comic-Con, I had to like table set for him, and so I sat there and watched Will Riker do his stuff when I was in LeVar's spot.
Yeah.
And when they did a panel, LeVar and the guy that does Data, I don't remember his name was
Brian Spinner.
They were doing a panel
actor.
up there,
Yeah.
and the guy, I fucking don't remember his name either. The nerds are going to kill me for this, but but the guy
You just
plays.
lost your nerd
I know.
cred.
The guy, but he went in there and he heckled them.
Really?
And then when he got done, he walked over to like one of the like burger flipping things. And he's like, "So, what do you need?" Flipping a burger for him, and like, but he had a good time with it.
Yeah.
Now, Shatner.
Oh, I love Shatner too, man.
Shatner had his own green room.
I like his personality.
He told me. He said, make sure you tell people, don't touch the Shatner unless the Shatner touch you. And I'm like,
oh shit!
Oh my god, really? Okay, sure.
Touch the Shatner.
And he was all nonchalant about it, probably.
Yeah, he was cool about it.
Don't touch the Shatner.
But when I was going to Lexington for work a lot, he has a really nice horse farm out there, and he's well known by people, and that's a cool guy. But you know, in the Nerd Foundation, when you got the thousands of people coming to you, it's interesting to watch how they react to people. Mm-hmm. You'll see a lot of them go to their phones so people can't stop them. You'll see a lot of them do fist bumps instead of handshakes, which I can understand after walking to the restrooms and seeing the guys that don't bathe and stuff. But it's weird. It's really weird. It's like they'll walk around and hug some germy kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all right, cool, whatever.
See, the person who I want to meet in this life, and I'm running out of time, I know, it's Patrick Stewart. And he's getting old.
You know,
I like his work.
So the ultimate duo would be to have Patrick Stewart and the guy who plays Gandalf come in because they do their little.
Yes.
Well, they also do X-Men together.
Yes, I know, but I mean they should be
apparently,
at the Comic-Con because that's like the ultimate thing right there.
In character.
I don't care if they come in character. I just want to drink with them. That's all I want to do.
Apparently,
have you seen their Facebook?
They're doing plays together.
Yeah. They go on the boardwalk and take stupid pictures.
And whatever.
They're
really good
Have
friends.
you seen their Facebook pictures of them just having beers together all the time?
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather have a beer with
They
them.
just hang out like friends.
Patrick Stewart.
It's Sir Patrick Stewart. Thank you.
I know, Sir Patrick Stewart. Sir, sorry. He is so amazing as an actor, and I mean, I've seen not necessarily in Star Trek, but he brings.
I remember him from way back in Dune days. Have you watched Dune?
Dune.
Yes.
I mean, he's in Dune. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh, I forgot he was in Dune. He actually had like a little bit of hair.
Yeah. Wow. No, but I've seen him in all of like the BBC productions, like the Macbeth production. I absolutely loved, good too, but he has like Moby Dick and a whole bunch of other ones he played.
I like British
every
television.
single one is
British television, like Being Human. If you've ever seen that, it's really good.
There's two versions of Being Human.
I
There's
like the American
version too.
and the British one.
Netflix is one thing in that regard. I've seen a lot more British television than I used to see.
And Hulu has a lot of British television on it. Like the Mighty Boosh. You've ever heard of it?
No.
It's hilarious. It's called the Mighty Boosh.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, you'll love it, dude. All right. Next question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Whether it be with R.I.P. Yeah, where do you see R.I.P. being R.i.p. Productions in the next 5 years?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just riding it, to be honest.
Do you plan on moving up with it, or?
I know that's the goal. Some people are wanting, and especially some of my partners have interest in really moving up and trying to coalesce not just the local scene but the outer scene. So one of the benefits of having this kind of setup is I can bring Pearlander in, I can bring the Locust Grove in, and they don't have to sell tickets to play a show. Because Kingfisher can't do a show at a bigger show because their fan base hasn't built up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of chicken for the eggs type thing. There's some really good bands like Many Kill a Death that could really do well if people just heard them, but they can't get heard because they can't get into the shows. So offering that opportunity right now is giving me gives me a chance to. I usually tell them, say, hey, listen, these guys brought all the people. You hook up with them and bring them to your place so that we can start bringing people together in different areas. Because
exactly,
like we talked about, it's super important that all bands don't oversaturate their market. But it's because of this whole situation, it's very difficult for them to go play at a different market. And so one show here, one show there, one show here, but at a different location. One show there. And then as long as there's no beefs between like venues, then you can potentially do that. But sometimes it's like, oh, I know the guy that runs the All-Star, but I don't know the guy that runs, I don't know, the scene, and so he won't let me in there because you played the show here. And
well, I understand that, but at the same point, and this is not being boastful, if you're good enough and you have that turning heads kind of talent, then I don't believe in oversaturating the scene. I believe that if you're good enough where
you
people
play like every day.
Well, I understand that, but like if you turn heads enough to a point to where people can't get enough of you, you know?
Yeah.
And keep coming out with new music.
The only difficult part is if you turn heads for like a show on Friday and you have another show over here, and you have to split your fans, and these guys that required you to do this to get on the show, either these guys are going to be pissed off because you didn't bring enough people, or these guys are going to be pissed off because you split your fans and you didn't bring enough people for them to be happy. So then you start to run yourself out of the scene, unfortunately, and it sucks because that's the way that paradigm of how things should run has been
I'm wanting
set
to
up.
Build fans at every show,
and I agree with that. What I like about doing it at different parts of the city is that you can like. There might be somebody that doesn't want to drive all the way to the west side of town to see a show because it's like, well, they don't want to get drunk in that town. They don't want to drive through the cops.
That's the difference between European music and American music, fans-wise.
Yeah.
We just had an episode about that.
Yeah.
Like European fans, they go 2 hours before the show, wait in line, and they will stay till the end. Americans, they call, what time does this band go on? And they'll show up when that band comes on and leave right whenever they're done.
The biggest thing that I see in America that I never see in Europe, here, people go home like early.
Yeah.
In Europe, all the bands are gone and people are just like, that's it? It's like 3 a.m.
Like,
go home.
We need to get back to
where's
that,
the
man.
after
we need
party?
to get back to the love of music.
I mean, here you don't have after parties.
The love
Not very often.
The love
That's
of camaraderie, man. The music.
But if it depends on when I was growing up, part of that was if the location. Like if you went to Lawrence, where the kids are playing, and you have the right kind of music that draws them in. I mean, techno or whatever it might be. I don't know what the kids really love anymore, but I try to keep track of it.
The youths.
But like when I was 20, the big stuff was the Pantera. There was still some grunge rolling through. It was in the early 90s, right? And so the shows at like it was called Lumpies or Down Under, were mostly rock and metal type stuff.
Yeah.
And then hip hop started kicking in really hard, and those kind of places kind of fell aside. Now it's a lot of the alternative, and alternative got big for a second there too.
Yeah.
It cycles a lot, right?
But as Tenacious D says, rock will never die.
Rock will never die.
Rap tried to destroy the metal.
Yes. Oh my God.
But they failed. We're gonna get flagged for that one. Claim. We got claimed here.
It happens.
We had an interview, man. I sang 2 seconds of a Blink-182 song.
Yeah, we're done.
In 5 minutes after putting it on YouTube, some fucking robot said, "You guys are getting flagged for copyright."
Yeah.
Like, really, we were talking good about them.
We had to fight that a couple times on the Bastards too. So.
Whatever.
Yeah, and we didn't even.
Yeah. The background music that was played on the radio here, we got flagged for it.
Oh yeah, that's why we're out here. Yeah.
I hear you. All right, I think we're on to crazy one-time stories.
Yes, sir. So,
this is our
related
favorite
to
bit.
music, what is your craziest one-time story? You could be setting up a show
I
or
get a
just
really good
watching
one.
a show. Okay, just
Okay, but we do this on every episode we do.
Mm-hmm.
If you subscribe to the Rock channel.
So if you have to subscribe.
At the end of every interview, we do the crazy one-time story, and then that leads into our segment on the episode.
Okay.
To where we're trying to get people to email into the Rock channel,
Right.
to where we're going to start reading off people's emails and
Sure.
stuff like that. So start with your crazy one-time story and
Okay,
make it good.
So you remember when you were feeling like you were getting a lot of free drinks at one time?
Mm-hmm.
So I told you I did some managing for BRS, Black Urban Sky, and one of the shows was at a place in Blue Springs, or just outside Blue Springs. It was called Club Silk.
Yeah.
We'd never been there before. As a former strip bar. I got there early with the band. Talked to the bartender. Started out with some shots of like Patron.
Oh shit! That's never a good
and just
night.
hanging out. And I had a video camera, and I was planning on videoing the whole show. And so where I actually kind of met my wife in a way,
Yeah,
present wife. So she gets there, and she was one of the good friends of the lead singer's girlfriend at the time, girlfriend. They're close enough to being wives at the time.
Yeah.
And so they switched to this thing called a cherry bomb. And the bartender had taken one of the lead singers, not the lead singer, but the guitarist's girlfriend, wife at the time,
Yeah.
her credit card, and for whatever reason she was charging them all of them, but she was making it out like to me like she was getting them for free. So I cherry bombed the shit out of that bar to the point that I don't really remember all that happened until I was told the next day. But one of the bands, their mom came in for the lead singer, and she was late 30s, early 40s, I think, and she wore like a vest with really revealing cleavage, and they were like 40 triple E's.
Yeah. One of those Dolly Partons.
Yeah, and they were cool. I didn't have a problem with that. But apparently, when I was partying with my wife, who happened to be there with her boyfriend at the time. We were at the bar, and I don't remember this, so it's secondhand knowledge, but apparently she went to introduce me to this girl, this lady, and I was on the floor, so somehow or another I popped up, I motorboated her, and then I ran off.
Just out of the blue, you motorboated her and popped up. She was like, "This is the best time of my life," and then you just ran off.
And then, so my wife was like, or my wife now at the time, just friend, was oh, I'm so sorry. He's so past drunk. She's like, no, it's okay. I kind of expected something. People look at stuff. And then she gave my wife her phone number. I was like, oh, interesting.
For like a threesome?
I have no idea because nothing happened out of that. But that was the interesting story.
Wow.
There's more to it after that.
No,
but
I guess
apparently,
so.
Keep going.
According to my wife's ex-boyfriend, I beat up the bathroom, which I don't remember that. I know it didn't happen. I think he was trying to tell her that I was abusive or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at my friend's house with my pants kind of wet, and I was like, "Oh, did I freaking pee my pants? And where the hell am? Oh, I'm at Chris's house. Okay." And I go, "Chris, what happened last night?" He's like, "I said, did I fucking pee my pants? Why didn't you let me?" He's like, "No. You were trying to drink water to sober up, and you were drinking from the wrong side of the cup and poured it right down your shirt." I was like, "Oh, well, great, but that sucks."
Still better than pee.
That's awesome.
Point taken. And I go, "Did I puke?" He's like, "No, I don't think so."
The point of being so drunk, where you take your glass and go like this.
No, it was like this. From the wrong side of the cup.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I've ever heard. That's fucking amazing.
But it gets a little better because I asked the guys did I fucking puke? I mean, was I that messed up?
Yeah.
My motorcycle was still over there, by the way, parked in the back of the bar.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Why'd you get so drunk in your ride?" I was like, "I don't know. She was giving me free shots." They're like, No, it wasn't free shots. It was on my girlfriend's tab. She's pissed.
Shit.
And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." It was like $80 in shots.
She was telling you that it was free, though, right?
She wouldn't tell me that. She just wasn't telling me they weren't free, so I didn't know. My bad. Anyways, so I come to find out that I did actually puke, but nobody told me, and I puked inside of like a Quick Trip cup that was stuck into my friend's
big gulp?
center console of his truck.
Yeah.
And the guitarist was kind of like didn't clean up around his truck a lot. A couple days later, he's like, "Oh," I put the cap back on it, set it there. It was fermenting in his car.
It was coagulating and
horrible.
fermenting in his car.
Yeah, bad deal.
That's worse than dead fish
Improved
on
by
the sea.
age, like good wine.
Yes.
That's the grossest thing I've ever heard.
It was so yeah, the coolest thing and then the
And
grossest
gross
thing, right?
thing. Wow.
How's that?
That is a story from JD from r.i.p Productions. This has been an interesting interview. Thank you for having the interview with us. And this is the Rock Channel. My name is Tyson.
Victor?
I'm JD.
Peace out, everybody.
This is JD Enke with r.i.p Productions. You're listening to the Rock Channel.